Hi, I'm Heather Rates, and this is Students with Exceptionalities. Students with learning disabilities experience depression and anxiety at higher rates than their peers. They may exhibit antisocial behavior that can cause difficulties in creating and maintaining peer relationships and lead to the isolation of students. Learning disabilities impact how students recall, store, and process information. These challenges in memory skills impacts reading, math, and writing abilities. Maintaining attention while eliminating irrelevant information is predominantly the largest challenge for students with learning disabilities. Students often have above average intelligence but demonstrate low academic achievement in one or more areas. Students may have reading disabilities or dyslexia that greatly impacts phonetic analysis, decoding words, fluency, and comprehension. Mathematic disabilities varies and creates challenges in understanding concepts, sequencing steps, and memorizing and retrieving facts. Teachers can apply the universal design for learning and differentiate instruction by implementing pedagogical methods and various technological mediums. Advanced organizers and graphic organizers help students with learning disabilities to organize, process new information, and improve reading comprehension. Some examples of pedagogical methods include graphic organizers, chart survey routines, and course organizers. The next exceptionality is communication disorders. Students with communication disorders often need additional assistance in forming social relationships because they have challenges in recognizing social cues, initiating and maintaining conversations, and verbally expressing their emotions. Students with communication disorders often perform below grade level due to challenges in processing and understanding the content. Curriculum-based assessments are used to determine the student's strengths and weaknesses to better develop strategies to help the student progress through the curriculum. Varying the format for relaying the information and the way students demonstrate their knowledges are also effective strategies. Other strategies include language strategies, graphic organizers, and augmented input. Inclusion in the general classroom has had a positive impact on students' carryover and generalization skills and provide opportunities to observe, work on, and assess their skills. Next is social or behavioral disorders. So students with emotional or behavioral disorders, also known as EBD, experience difficulties in social situations due to anxiety and antisocial behavior. These students may have difficulties forming peer relationships, which can lead to a feeling of isolation. Over half the students with EBD have expressive and/or receptive language disorders and can cause difficulties in understanding verbal and nonverbal communication. This has led to more than half the students with EBD to have some of the lowest scores in reading and math of all students. Students typically have low to average IQ scores. And 22% of elementary or middle school age students with EBD were held back. Only 38% of students with EBD graduated with a regular diploma, which is 14% less than any other disability group. Sadly, 52% of students with EBD drop out, which can lead to unemployment and poverty. The Check and Connect program is an intervention program that prevents students from dropping out. This program includes mentoring, student connections, and family connections. Technology is used to aid students in self-regulating, which research has shown to improve performance and behavior. Some technology mediums include smartphones and tablets. Some effective instructional strategies include multi-component interventions to prevent conduct disorders, service learning, and conflict resolution. These strategies emphasize mastery, work to engage students in their community, and engage to effectively problem solve and make decisions. The next exceptionality is students with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, also known as ADHD. Students with ADHD experience externalized and internalizing behaviors that can make it difficult to form peer relationships. Challenges in regulation of emotions leads to higher rates of peer rejection, delinquent behavior, and negative self-images. Problems in engaging in conversations is another challenge that students with ADHD have, and that negatively impacts their ability to establish peer relations. Students with ADHD tend to have more challenges in working memory that results in reading difficulties. Processing emotions is also a challenge for students with ADHD. Students with ADHD struggle with following directions, paying attention, staying organized, participating quietly, and staying still. These qualities can greatly impact students' ability to process new information and can negatively impact academic achievement. Students with ADHD generally have lower academic achievement and a grade point average that is less than other students. They also tend to have poor vocabulary development. Students with ADHD benefit from classroom modifications and organizational skills. Some different ways to modify your classroom are to create spaces for students who get distracted easily, that don't have much stuff on the wall and are quieter and kind of separate from some of the other students for different activities of the day. Students with ADHD should also be taught organizational skills to keep them on track. Next is students with intellectual disabilities. These students tend to struggle with responsibilities, self-esteem, gullibility, following rules, and motivation. They tend to wait for direction before acting and feel as if they're out of control of their daily activities. Students with intellectual disabilities often are impacted by their short-term memory, long-term memory, and working memory, and they have challenges in following directions, recalling large amounts of information, and retaining information. This negatively impacts reading, math, and writing skills, but memory training can help. Students often most students with intellectual disabilities score between a 70 or below on their IQ. This means that students will probably need more support in schools and other settings. So some technology that can be applied for universal design of learning includes e-readers and digital talking books. So this could include like Rocket Reader or Amazon Kindle. This allows students to work at their own pace and to view the content in different media forms. Students may also need to learn applied skills such as money counting or grooming. And this should only occur in the classroom if students are unable to generalize their skills to other settings. Intellectual ability varies greatly for students with autism. 38% of students had scored an IQ of 85 or greater. Most students with autism have a challenge of completing homework, which can lead to lower academic achievement. Teachers should adapt their curriculum to present content on how they present content or the way students respond to the content to play off students' strengths. Mnemonic strategies are very effective in building memory and language skills. Traumatic brain injury. Social and behavioral characteristics depend on the severity of the traumatic brain injury, also known as TBI, and the age of the injury age of the child when the injury occurred. The younger and more severe the TBI is, the higher the risk of challenges related to inhibiting and redirecting actions and the higher levels of internalizing and externalizing behaviors. Children with TBI experience higher rates of difficulties with processing speed and recall of details. Children under 3 years of age experience problems with memory, planning, problem solving, and abstract reasoning. Children tend to have low to average IQ scores, but the more severe the TBI is, the greater rate of intellectual, academic, and language impairments. Teachers should modify how they present the content for students with TBIs by using redirecting and instructional pacing strategies. Technology can also be used to provide various mediums for students to learn the content, such as watching videos. They should also work with self-advocating skills with the students and self-management skills. Students with hearing loss, including those who are deaf. 4 factors influencing social development are the parent-child interactions, peer and teacher communications, developing social presence, and isolation. Students with hearing loss and who are deaf experience higher rates of isolation and feelings of being outsiders. They experience difficulties in bonding and developing close relationships. Speech is affected depending on the severity. So children with moderate hearing loss to severe hearing loss may miss key auditory information. The IQ range of students with hearing loss or who are deaf is very similar to the general population. Many show challenges in reading and writing because they are strongly linked with communication. Those who are included in the general classroom have shown higher academic achievement than those who are segregated. Children can often communicate in different ways and require different methods of delivering content. So the use of amplification systems, bilingual, bicultural programs, and collaboration with pathologists are effective ways to apply universal design. Students with visual impairments. These students often cannot share common experiences with their peers, such as new video games or seeing the latest movies. So it can lead to a feeling of disconnection with their peers and negatively impacting their self-esteem in the long term. Visual impairments primarily impacts how students learn new skills, but it is not long-lasting if early interventions are applied. Students who become passive in exploring their environment show lower rates of intellectual stimulation that negatively impact the student's motivation. Low motivation is also the leading cause for lower academic achievement levels. Students with visual impairments may need additional services to master content, such as specialized instruction, literacy programs, and Braille contractions. Providing different methods for delivering the content includes the use of TBI transcriptions, which converts text into Braille. Students who are gifted or talented. These students experience a wide variety of positive and negative experiences, including greater opportunities, better teachers, and differentiated classrooms, as well as bullying in all its forms. Some gifted and talented students are able to process large quantities of information, which is known as superior functioning of memory, concentration, abstraction, generalization, and reasoning. These students often experience higher general intellect, specific academic aptitude, performing art talents, and creative and leadership skills. Generally, students will also experience disabilities in language, hearing, visual, physical, or learning. Teachers can modify their curriculum by using curriculum extensions and cognitive taxonomies. Curriculum extensions allow for students who are gifted to learn the content faster. Thank you.